Hello, Charlotte friends. I hope you're all having a good new year. It has been years since I've made one of these videos. I had to dust off the old camera, flex my forecasting muscles again. We're actually going to have winter weather in Charlotte. It looks like this Friday into Saturday. So it's been years since we've had any measurable accumulating snow in the city, and it's looking more likely that we're going to see at least a little bit of snow and perhaps some ice to mix in. So let me just jump into it. I'm not going to make this too technical because most of my friends are not meteorologists, but this is the current satellite across the country. So the big thing to note about this and why this setup is going to be conducive for us is that we have so much cold air. There's a ton of cold air spilling across the country right now. And if I draw this for you, so cold air is coming in from Canada like this, and you can see all this cloud cover over the oceans in the Gulf of Mexico. And that's driven by that cold air. And the overnight lows over the next couple of days are going to be down near 20 degrees. So that's really going to lower the ground temperature in and around the Carolinas. And over the next, I'd say 48 hours or so, right in here in the western Gulf of Mexico, an area of low pressure is going to form, and it's going to move this direction. And that's going to bring us a bunch of moisture that goes over top of that cold air and give us the chance for some wintertime precipitation. So if I just walk you through some of the computer models, so this is a variety of things. So this is just I wanted to show you the setup first. So this is the American model, the GFS. I'll just step this forward quickly so you can see when the storm starts to get going. And again, Charlotte is up here on the map. So you see this low pressure is forming over the Gulf of Mexico, and it brings a lot of rain, heavy rain and thunderstorms across Louisiana and some of the deep south. But you see the snow on its northern edge there, and that advances eastward. And this is Friday morning, sometime around like late morning, 10, 11 in the morning or so. And you can see by mid-afternoon, this particular model has some light snow moving in across the western parts of the Carolinas, northern Georgia. And then as time goes on, you see that snow continues into the overnight, eventually changing over into some sort of icy mix, whether that's sleet or freezing rain. And then that low quickly exits off shore, and then by Saturday morning, by the time you wake up at 7 a.m. or so, it's all out of here. So this is going to be a really quick event. I think it's going to be a 12-hour or so event where things are going to start ramping up after sunset on Friday, and then the overnight hours Friday into Saturday, and then by Saturday morning, it's pretty much wiped out and done in our area. So it's never good to look at one model, so I thought I'd look at lots of different models and just show you the comparisons. So this is Saturday evening around 1 in the morning. So this is kind of the middle part of the event. And if I step this forward through time, you see this is one particular model. This is the European model. This is the Canadian model. You can notice our area in the sleet zone. Again, sleet here. Another model has us getting kind of maybe a sleet snow mix. And if I step this backward one time frame, this is when kind of the onset of the storm is happening. You see it looks like most of the models, not all of them, but most of them have us starting off with some snow. So you see some snow there, snow, snow, kind of a mix of snow and sleet, and then snow. So it looks like most of the models seem to agree that some light snow is going to start falling sometime late in the afternoon, early evening hours on Friday, continue on until it starts mixing with some of this ice. And the real trick here is if I step this forward again, the tricky thing is where exactly does this low go? So you see a low that's closer to the coast like this. So if I just draw on this for you, basically what this low is doing is the flow around it is like this, so it flows counterclockwise, and it's going to be throwing warm air this direction. So the closer the low is to the coast, the farther away we are from the warm air, and the more likely it is we stay snow. The closer the low tracks inland, so if the low takes a track over here, it's going to be able to pull more warm air over us and give us a better chance of ice is what ends up happening. So if you look at one of these models, I could just pick one that's showing ice over us, just to give you a quick idea of what's going on. So basically what happens in these kinds of situations is this blue line right here is the freezing line, essentially. So what this is saying is that anything that falls on this side of this is below freezing. So this is going to be snow over here. So this is snowflakes, 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 snowflakes. But then they cross the freezing line right in here, and that starts melting some of the snow. Then it goes back below freezing again, and it refreezes. And so it really, the key is how much of this warm air actually moves over top of us. And that really is the key to understanding what kind of precipitation we're going to get. And when you look at a variety of these models, they all show something different. So just take this one, for example. Again, this blue line that I'm going to highlight here very carefully is the freezing line. So again, this would all be snow because this is all below freezing right through here, but then it crosses right there. So right in here, this section of the atmosphere is greater than 32 degrees. So greater than 32, so that's going to melt our snowflakes. Then it gets below freezing again. So the lower part of the atmosphere where we are is below freezing. So if you have more of this warm air, the snow melts, then it refreezes into sleet on the way down. So that's really the question. I don't think there's much question in terms of are we going to see frozen precipitation. I think the big question is how much of it's going to fall as snow, how much of it's going to fall as sleet. And depending on where this low goes, again, the more inland the low is, the more ice that we tend to get. So then I thought I'd show you one last thing. This is the probability that we see at least 1 inch of snow across the Carolinas. And so these are what are called ensembles. So this is not just looking at one model. This is looking at a whole bunch of models, dozens of them, all put together with an average, because it's better to look at that in many respects versus just picking just one kind of a favorite. Most people like to show the snowiest model, but that usually doesn't actually happen. So this is what is the chance of us seeing at least 1 inch of snow accumulating during this time period. So you can see this is the Europeans ensemble. So it has us now in Charlotte at least at about a 70% chance that we see at least 1 inch of snow. Now this doesn't include any sleet or freezing rain that might fall. So this is just purely snowfall. And you can see the farther north and west you get, you're getting into the 70 to 90% range. But then it quickly tapers off the farther south and east you get. So that's the Europeans model, European ensemble. And then this is the GFS's ensemble for the same exact time period. And you see it too has us at about a 60% chance of us seeing at least 1 inch of snow. And this has trended upward over the last couple of days. If you live back to the west of us, Greenville, Hickory, Asheville, those regions, I think you're pretty sure to see at least some accumulating snow. Again, it's all, you can see there's I-85. It's always this corridor because, again, it depends on where the low is going to track. So that's kind of the rundown. So my initial thoughts are, yes, I do think we're going to get frozen precipitation starting late in the day on Friday, overnight into Saturday. I do think there'll be some accumulating snow, or at least some snow, transitioning into some sleet is what it's looking like in the overnight hours. But it's a quick storm system, 12 hours, it's in and out of here, and then more cold air behind this system, it looks like, as we head into the latter part of the week. So I'll have more updates as the storm gets closer. The models tomorrow and especially Thursday morning will really hone in on a solution, and we'll have a better idea of what's going to happen. So have a good one. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.